Today, we're diving into some truly chilling and true horror stories about neighbors you never really knew. These tales are perfect for those who love a good scare and want to hear about the eerie experiences that happen right next door. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more creepy stories and horror content. Let's get started. 1. The strange smell. Jennifer had lived in her apartment for a few years and had always thought her neighbor, Mr. Thompson, was just a quiet old man who kept to himself. One day, she noticed a strange smell coming from his apartment. It was faint at first, but grew stronger over the next few days. Concerned, she knocked on his door but got no answer. She decided to call the building manager, who agreed to check on Mr. Thompson. When the manager opened the door, they were hit by a powerful, putrid smell. Inside, they found Mr. Thompson's lifeless body. The police were called, and it was determined that he had been dead for weeks. What was even more disturbing were the strange symbols and writings all over his walls. The investigation revealed that Mr. Thompson had been involved in some dark, occult practices. Jennifer could never shake the feeling of dread whenever she thought about how close she had lived to such dark activities. 2. The basement secret. Tom and Lisa moved into a charming suburban neighborhood, excited to start their new life. Their next-door neighbor, Mr. Miller, was a reclusive man who rarely came out of his house. One evening, Tom noticed Mr. Miller struggling with a large, heavy bag and offered to help. Mr. Miller declined, but Tom's curiosity was piqued. A few weeks later, Tom and Lisa started hearing strange noises coming from Mr. Miller's basement late at night. Sounds of dragging, muffled cries, and whispers. They decided to investigate and called the police. When the police arrived and searched the basement, they discovered a hidden room filled with disturbing items, chains, bloodstains, and photos of missing people. Mr. Miller was arrested, and it was revealed that he had been kidnapping people and keeping them in his basement for years. Tom and Lisa were horrified to learn that they had been living next to a serial killer. They moved out shortly after, unable to bear the thought of staying in that neighborhood. 3. The watching eyes. Emily lived alone in a small house and had always felt safe in her quiet neighborhood. One day, she noticed a new neighbor moving into the house across the street. He seemed friendly enough, but there was something unsettling about the way he watched her. Over the next few weeks, Emily started feeling like she was being watched all the time. She would catch glimpses of her neighbor staring at her through his windows, even late at night. She tried to ignore it, but then she started receiving anonymous, creepy notes on her doorstep. One night, she woke up to find him standing outside her bedroom window, staring at her with a menacing grin. She screamed and called the police, who arrived and arrested him. It turned out he had a history of stalking and had been watching her every move. Emily was deeply shaken and moved to a different town, always looking over her shoulder. 4. The friendly facade. Brian and his family moved into a new neighborhood and quickly befriended their neighbors, the Johnsons. They seemed like the perfect family, friendly, helpful, and always inviting them over for barbecues. Everything seemed normal until Brian's son, Alex, came home one day terrified. Alex told his parents that he had seen something strange in the Johnsons' basement, cages and people locked inside. Brian and his wife were skeptical but decided to investigate. Pretending to borrow a tool, Brian managed to sneak into the basement and was horrified by what he saw. Several people chained up and barely alive. They called the police, and the Johnsons were arrested. It turned out they were part of a human trafficking ring, using their friendly facade to cover their illegal activities. Brian's family was shocked and traumatized, realizing how close they had been to such evil. 5. The noisy neighbor. Jessica had always been annoyed by her upstairs neighbor, Mr. Stevens, who seemed to make noise at all hours of the night. There were constant thumping, dragging sounds, and even the occasional scream. She complained to the landlord, who assured her that Mr. Stevens was just a night owl. One night, the noises were so loud that Jessica decided to confront him. She knocked on his door, but there was no answer. Concerned, she called the police. When they arrived and entered the apartment, they found a horrifying scene. The apartment was filled with stolen goods, weapons, and detailed plans for a series of violent crimes. Mr. Stevens was arrested, and it was revealed that he was part of a criminal gang. Jessica was horrified to learn that she had been living below a dangerous criminal. She moved out as soon as she could, still haunted by the memory of the noises that had once annoyed her. Conclusion: thank you for joining us as we explored these true disturbing stories about neighbors you never really knew. From the strange smell and the basement secret to the watching eyes, the friendly facade, and the noisy neighbor, these tales remind us that sometimes the scariest things are right next door. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends who love a good scare, and subscribe to our channel for more chilling tales and horror content. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos. Have you ever had a creepy neighbor? Let us know in the comments below. Stay safe and see you in the next video.